Welcome back. You're watching the Global Dialogue, and we're talking about Mounjaro and its launch in India with the global CEO of Lilly, Dave Briggs. You know, the journey began, as I said, in 2006. What do you anticipate as being the next wave of breakthroughs with regards to this?
Yeah, well, we have 10 other projects in our pipeline. So it's early days. I think we're just getting started. Mounjaro is an amazing drug, but there's even better drugs being developed and thought about. One is in our phase 3, which is a triple acting. So I talked about Mounjaro being 2 hormones, 3 acting, and there's a lot of excitement about this. We're probably a couple years away from having all that data and submitting to regulators. But for people where Mounjaro is not enough, that could be a great solution. And then actually for common use, and here in a country like India, very important, is an oral GLP-1. And we have that in our pipeline. We'll get data this year on this. And that could be really compelling, not just because it's more convenient, but because we can make it at scale. And so to the billion people on the planet who have obesity or overweight, that kind of solution is needed. Although we're scaling aggressively our injectables, and we talked about our capital plans, it will not get to 1 billion anytime soon, but the oral could.
And by when could we expect a breakthrough on the oral front?
We'll get data in the coming weeks on the first study, and really we've said by the end of this year we should have most of the data in hand and can begin the regulatory process.
Okay. Well, you know, that's as far as Mounjaro is concerned, but outside of that, the strategic importance of India for you, you've got 3 capability centers here. It's your largest employee base outside of the US. So run me through your One India strategic framework and how India is going to be relevant to you globally.
Well, India is already highly relevant to us globally, but actually for more the process of our work, less of the output of our work. Mounjaro may change that as the market grows with that launch. But India is a core part of our global R&D operations. We have a large center in Bangalore, which has been set up since 2016 and is integral to nearly every step of our global development. We've been very successful at speeding up these processes and really beating the competition with the fastest clock speed from invention to patient. And one of the ways we do that is the follow the sun model, where we have highly skilled Indian talent. And you know, the natural resources of this country is people and their incredible education and work drive. And so we've recruited an amazing team in Bangalore, and when our colleagues in the US go to sleep, they pick up the files and the work continues 24/7, and we don't wait 1 minute to rush our medicines to patients through that process. So that's been very successful. We also have a tech hub in Bangalore, but we're expanding that in Hyderabad with a new tech center. We're out hiring now, so if people are interested, great jobs at Lilly in Hyderabad. And then here in the Delhi area, we have our commercial hub. So One India unites those under one umbrella, sort of more of a corporate presence in your country and a bigger presence in your country, and we're excited to have that launch.
I'll come back to India in just a second, but I do want to talk about what's happening globally.
Yes.
With the tariff announcements coming in from the White House and what President Trump intends to do, we're counting down to the 2nd of April. We don't quite know how this is going to play out. But specifically from a Lilly point of view, but more importantly from a pharmaceutical sector point of view, how do you see the tariff impact?
Yeah, well, it's really unknown, isn't it? I mean, we don't know what the April 2nd documents will bring or what actions may follow. Of course, as a multinational company, you know, global industry, we're not really for tariffs. We think actually both non-tariff and tariff trade barriers should fall everywhere so that everybody can enjoy the benefits of products, and we have global competition that's balanced and fair. We would like to get to that end state. If the president's idea is to use this tool to get there, okay, we want to get there. And so hopefully the countries are talking and we can work out a way to get to fair and balanced trade, which I think everyone's for, in a way that creates understanding and so forth. If there are tariffs on pharmaceuticals, I understand what's being discussed is more of a general tariff situation. Yeah. For us, that has limited impact because we have very regionalized supply chains already. We can move things around. And our cost of goods is not so sensitive to the end price. Cost of goods for Lilly is about 20–25%. So the basis by which we'd be tariffed is lower than other industries, but it's not a great sign. I think the big thing in healthcare people are watching is the generic industry, where the cost of producing the medicine is much higher compared to innovative. Our biggest cost is R&D. Yes. They don't have R&D. So that might affect medicine costs in the US or in other countries, and that would be that would not be good, I think.
You've decided to set up 4 new manufacturing facilities in the U.S. at a cost of at least $27 billion. What are we talking about in terms of operationalizing those facilities? And do you believe that with this threat of tariffs, we are going to see more possible repatriation to the U.S. of manufacturing?
I think you will see repatriation to the U.S., not because of the tariffs, but because of tax and also the global risk management. So both because of geopolitical overlay and our lessons from COVID, where some of these critical medicine supply chains broke down. We had optimized for efficiency on a global scale, but not resilience. So there's a rebalance in that needed, which means more capital. It'll be less efficient, but more resilient. I think that makes sense for us to do that anyway, and we have been doing that before the talk of tariffs. We're building 6 sites now, we're adding 4 more. So that's a big agenda for us. It will take several years to complete. But in the end, we will have in each region of the world capabilities to produce and manufacture our products. Again, less efficiency, more resiliency. That's probably a good thing for society. When people
But at a cost?
There will be a cost, yeah. Whether that's borne by our customers or our shareholders, to be determined. Fortunately, right now for Lilly, we need the capacity to grow, and so we're growing into that those new sites. We need them anyway somewhere, so we're putting them close to home where we had less of these API sites. We have a lot of API sites in Europe, so they're well suited. And we have some capacity in Asia, which is expanding as well.
One of the other things that I said captured public imagination in 24 was artificial intelligence, generative AI, and its impact across different sectors. Now, pharmaceuticals is held up to be one example where everyone's talking about transformation, disruption. Hype versus reality. When we talk about drug discovery, I mean, you've managed to actually halve time to market in your tenure as CEO, but what do you think this is realistically going to mean in terms of bringing down the timelines to drug discovery?
Yeah, it's interesting. 24 was the year of GPT and GLP.
Yes,
right. So,
that's right, GPT and GLP is right.
Exactly, yeah. So, but that doesn't end in 24. I think it's accelerating both trends. We're seeing new innovation in incretins and obesity, but also new innovation in AI. Lilly has embraced AI at scale at every phase of our business. So we can think of this in terms of the research layer, and here we get into proprietary use of the technology, the core of our company, inventing new medicines, and we have dozens of experiments. Some are public and being done with others, like with ChatGPT's OpenAI, with Microsoft, with Amazon, with other scaled tech players, the Google team at Isomorphic. That's exciting. Those are partnerships that can form new ways to use the technology to skip wet lab steps, to accelerate early phase drug discovery, find new targets, find new medicines. We have many of those things going on inside the company as well, particularly in the area of chemistry and protein design, where we can use some of the generative capabilities, diffusion models to help our scientists get new starting points. And that could be amazing for human health. We're also using AI to speed up clinical trials and other development steps, both by predicting what won't work, so we don't spend energy on things that aren't worth pursuing, but also speeding up the core processes. In manufacturing, to increase yield, we have several amazing projects that had a big difference for us in scaling our Mounjaro growth. And then in commercial, speaking to customers, working with tech platforms to present our information that's customized to what they're interested in and serve up solutions to their needs. So across the enterprise, we're all in on AI, and I think it will make a big difference. I think most of the progress we've made on drug development cycle time has not included much AI. So I think there's more progress to be made.
So you've been able to halve it without AI?
Pretty much. So I think we could do even more.
So one is timelines, but what about costs? I mean, how much does it cost to put out a drug in the market today?
A little over $4 billion per drug.
$4 billion per drug?
Just before you make one sale. Yeah. So it's hugely expensive and complicated and slow. So on average, the industry takes about 14, 15 years. We're about half of that, but we spend about the same as others. And that is a function of both, I think, 2 big trends. One is hard to change, which is that science builds on itself. And so each new drug has to demonstrate benefit over everything that came before it.
Thank you so much for joining us here on CNBC-TV18 in India with your plans for Mounjaro as well as for Lilly. Appreciate your time.
Great to be with you. Thank you.
Well, with that, it is time for us to wrap up this edition of the Global Dialogue. From all of us here on the team for now, goodbye and many thanks for watching.